The Philadelphia Mills Mall is where a carjacking couple was targeting victims, according to Philadelphia police. On at least 2 occasions, they held up unsuspecting shoppers, but today their crime spree came to a close. Thursday night, and the big story on Action News is the arrest of a dangerous carjacking duo at one of the busiest shopping malls in the city. The couple would force their victims to drive them from the Philadelphia Mills Mall to a nearby ATM at gunpoint and then rob them. Action News reporter Bob Brooks talked exclusively to a victim tonight, and he's live in Northeast Philadelphia. Bob.
Well, Rick, this was a young lady carjacked this past Tuesday. Make no mistake about it. She nearly lost her life, but I can tell you, Rick, after speaking with her this evening, she is very resilient.
Both of them had handguns, and they both held it to my head.
Yeah, man. There's no question who did this. Nobody in here. Hit 1 if you're thinking someone other than the Sunman, or these 2 suspects were someone other than some Sunmen. Because I hear a lot about profiling and things like that. But when I'm in the community and I'm talking to Sun people in the hood, as you would say, and we're not like in no woke conversation, and there's no like air of like, thinking about what gliders are thinking about or what we're saying. We're just talking like some people do all the time. When there's a shooting, the first thing they mutter under their breath is, "Dang, those dang gone Sun words." Anywhere. I'm talking about there could be a shooting anywhere in the city, anywhere in the state. And they automatically assume that it was a Sun word. And that tells me more than some random Karen running up on Beyonce's mom in an airplane saying, why'd you let your daughter marry a gangster rapper? Even though we know that's a lie. And that probably never happened. However, if it did, the fact that real Sun people, New York, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Atlanta, LA, Des Moines, Louisville, Baton Rouge, Gary, when they is shooting in their city, the only suspect that comes to mind is the Sunman.
Both of them had handguns, and they both held it to my head.
Yet somehow, Marissa Briggs stayed calm enough to survive her brush with death. This past Tuesday afternoon, she was carjacked and kidnapped at Philadelphia Mills near the yellow entrance as she was getting into her car.
And they came behind me as I was opening my driver's door.
Next, they forced her into the passenger seat while a male suspect drove her car and a female suspect sat behind her with a gun.
Took out my debit cards, my credit cards. They saw it was a PNC, so they went to Wawa's.
At each store, they'd withdraw her cash and threaten her life.
She mentioned when he went inside that he was going to hurt me, either pistol whip me or slash my face.
At one of the Wawas, Briggs thought about running, but couldn't.
He went inside to the ATM, and I was like, can I leave now? And she's like, no, he's going to kill me if he finds out that I let you go.
So somehow, she remained calm.
I knew that, if I matched his energy, that he would get spooked. So I just take deep breaths and, say to myself, everything's okay.
Eventually, Briggs was let go in the 2100 block of Griffith Street and got help. But it turns out police say the duo was busy doing the same thing again this morning at Philadelphia Mills, only they'd be caught.
Now, here's the thing. It said they did the same thing to somebody the morning of this video. But only they got caught. But that doesn't mean anything. If we look at this guy and this girl's rap sheet, I think we'll see that they've been caught plenty of times. It's not the caught, it's the keep. Okay? Salute for catching them, coppers. But we need the DA and the judges to keep them. That's the problem.
But it turns out police say the duo was busy doing the same thing again this morning at Philadelphia Mills, only they'd be caught. The newly formed Philadelphia Carjacking Task Force tracked them down in the Mitsubishi Outlander they're accused of stealing. We were there as a male suspect was taken into custody. His female accomplice was also arrested. But despite what they've allegedly done,
that could be an hombrito or a sunbrito. I'm erring on the side that this may be a sunbrito, man. Or light-skinned brother.
We were there as a male suspect was taken into custody. His female accomplice was also arrested. But despite what they've allegedly done, Briggs doesn't harbor any hate.
We all, do things we're not proud of. And, we can always change our actions for the next day.
Now, listen, in America, this is considered a sister. I'm sure she identifies as a sister. I don't think this is a hombrita, as the way she probably lives and the spaces she moves in and her family. Her father could look like me. I think this is a sister. And it ticks me off that a sister hates you for eternity if you sit in her favorite seat in the church pew at church. She come to church and there you are sitting in her favorite seat. She'll hate you for eternity. Or sister hate you forever over some frivolous thing. Some frivolous thing. But the criminals put guns to their head, take all their money, take their cars at gunpoint. Well, instant forgiveness. The criminals that kill their children. Well, the body ain't cold yet. The body's in transit to the morgue. Already forgiven them. We see that all the time, man. But let them find out you didn't vote for Stacey Abrams. Let them find out you asked, the latest poster child for police brutality. You asked, why did he reach for the cop's gun? Oh, God, they hate you. You say something like that. I'm just asking, do you think they would have turned out differently had he not grabbed the cop's gun? Oh, my God. They hate you. They'll hate you. They'll run you off Twitter. You have to delete your account. Would you kill the kids or put a gun to their head, take all their money? I'll forgive you.
We all, do things we're not proud of. And, we can always change our actions for the next day.
Rick, an incredible young lady we're hearing from right there. Now, Briggs says her car has been recovered, and police, they also add, they believe this duo has done this more than just twice. The case is still under investigation. For now, reporting live in Northeast Philadelphia, Bob Brooks, Channel 6, Action News. Rick.
All right, Bob, thank you.
A group of dirt bikers on the run right now wanted in a vicious beating in Harlem. That happened Tuesday afternoon in broad daylight, and it was caught on surveillance video. Police say the group pulled a man in his 60s and his adult son from their own car, then punched and kicked and robbed them. News 4's Mark.
Look at the two gliders walking down the street like, honey, don't look straight, honey, look straight. Diversity is our strength. Just another day. These gliders are paying $3,000 for a one bedroom for efficiency or a studio or English basement. $3,500 a month. See this when they come out their door. $4,000 to live in a high rise with 200 units. To come outside and see this all the time. Hey, what you asked for, man. But the 60-year-old man and his adult son, let's see what they have done. Well, bikers, you know, they're in D.C. a lot. And they're in, D.C. got a lot of bikers. And I've seen a lot of their activities. Cops can't really chase them. They're not afraid of cops. So when you have a group of marauding people who are, who feel like the cops can't, you know, adjudicate the jurisdiction, or you know, hold authority over them, because cops really don't. Cops really can't do anything with bikers. When it's 50, 100 deep, all the cops can do is like kind of like tail behind them and see, you know, when they maraud through the city in large groups, cops can't really do anything. If you're from these cities, you know that. And that type of feeling, it's hard to resist being lawless and being a jerk. It's very hard to resist that, man. You got 20, 30 guys who know the thing that we're doing, which is basically illegal, we can't be stopped for. We can't be chased. If a cop comes up to one of us, he can't really, you know, do anything because they're told, because we're just going to take off and they're told not to chase us. You know, for public safety reasons. And it's not worth it because there's so much going on in these cities that, you know, just some bikers, you know, marauding through the town. No big deal. So it's very hard, you know, to have a bunch of, you know, homies riding through the city on bikes, knowing that, you know, they're above the law. The bike makes them above the law because on the bike, the cop can't chase them. So it's really hard for them to, you know, not take advantage of that because you have to be like a good person. You got to have character. And all it takes is a couple of them not to have character. And you're sitting there in your car, waiting for them to go past. And they go on past. And you're going past, and there's more of them, and they're just cutting you off. And, you know, you may stop to let them go by. And, you know, the ones behind you feel like you stopped in their space. And now they're going to get out and pull you out of your car and beat you up. It's that quick, man. It's really that simple. You don't have to, like, be yelling out your window, your mama and all this stuff. You don't have to do all that. All you got to do is some minor traffic offense. You know, minor traffic offense, man. These guys will pull you out your car and beat you half to death. But if they commit a minor traffic offense, the cop give them a ticket, they're going to be talking about racial disparities, man.
Police say the group pulled a man in his 60s and his adult son from their own car, then punched and kicked and robbed them. News 4's Mark Santia is live in Harlem. And Mark, I understand you spoke with one of the victims today.
Yeah, we just spoke to the son. He tells us his father just left the hospital. He's doing okay. He's beaten pretty severely. He said he has a fracture near his eye. He suffered a concussion. The son also said with these bikers out on the street, their family is terrified. The video is tough to watch. A father and son surrounded by bikers and attacked. The 35-year-old son tells us bikers broke the driver's side window and dragged his father from behind the wheel onto 127th Street and beat him. Off camera, he told us, quote, "I don't really care about me. I worry about my dad. I ran to help my dad. They started stomping on me, and I blacked out." He goes on to tell us this all started, quote, near 127th and Frederick Douglass Boulevard.
I wish you could see this video. Like, they're coming out of everywhere like roaches. Like, I know it's probably like 50 of them ahead that didn't probably even notice what's going on. And then some of them behind that are just coming upon this. But they're all coming over there and beating this 60-year-old man. And I know for a fact that most of these guys don't know what happened, the original offense was. They just know that their boys are beating up somebody. They probably don't even know it's a 60-year-old man on the ground. They're just coming over there and kicking whoever their friends are kicking. And they're kicking, man. Like, we're not talking about like Joe Pesci. We're talking about like bend it like Beckham. You know, when David Beckham gets a free kick from like 40 yards away, 50 yards away. You got to make the ball spin around the wall of defenders. We're talking about those type kicks. They're like, all of them are like, the rage they have for this man. And I know they don't know what happened. Like, this is the second wave. Like, the first group got into it with something happened where, you know, they broke out the window and then they pulled the guy out the car. They blocked him off too with their bikes. And they beating him good. Whatever he did, he paid for it. They gave him his justice. Then the second wave, just like 20 dudes just flood in. And they're like, the rage in the like, I can't even think of a word, like behind their kicks and their punches. Where's that coming from? Like, how do you have that much anger towards this lifeless body that's laying on the ground? Because these guys are already out. Nick Cannon lied. That's all I can say is Nick Cannon lied, man. He lied.
Near 127th and Frederick Douglass Boulevard, where the bikers were going the wrong way and we collided.
Well, that explains it. Frederick Douglass Boulevard. Listen, man, if you a glider, man, if these were gliders, you have no business on Frederick Douglass Boulevard, man. If these were Sunmen that got dealt with like this, I guess you can't help it, man. You know, that's your neck of the woods. If it's on Britos, man, maybe your neck of the woods too, but man, that explains it all, man. Frederick Douglass Boulevard, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Medgar Evers Avenue, Malcolm X Avenue, anywhere named after a great Sunman, civil rights leader, or abolitionist, is going to be one of the most dangerous places in your city. Period.
Near 127th and Frederick Douglass Boulevard, where the bikers were going the wrong way and we collided. The bikers got angry. His father panicked. His dad tried to drive to a police precinct, but they were soon surrounded. I felt sad when I saw it because he did not deserve that. Neighbors who know the father and son for years say they are humble and good people. They're disgusted by the video, telling me in Spanish, I was mad and furious when I saw what happened. These are people that wake up at 5 in the morning to sustain their family. This is not fair.
And these guys are like, these men have been on burritos too, some burritos, because I saw a lot of sun men, but I did see a lot of on burritos. So maybe these are sun burritos, and because if you look at the people in the community that represent that community, it's probably these men who were beaten like this were probably on burritos. And the group that beat them was probably a mix between hombritos, sun burritos, and sunmen. Just the ferocity of the beating, like, it was bad, man. And that's why I didn't show it. So if you're wondering, like, man, why you didn't show it? Because, man, you just don't. You give people dignity, too. Not only because of YouTube, but just you want to give people dignity, man. Like, that guy didn't deserve all that, man. To be, like, kicked and punched with that much ferocity by that many people for that long of a period in broad daylight. He didn't deserve that, man. Whatever he did, he accidentally, y'all were going the wrong way. He stopped. Like I told you before, like, all it takes is they're coming down the street, you stop. They feel like you're blocking them. Well, if you kept going, if they would have been offended that you kept going, there would have been nothing you could have done in that situation. But just disappear in thin air. Or just get out the car and start running as soon as you see him.
And after the attack, police say they believe 7 men, then took the victim's wallet and their cash, as well as their cell phones. We're live in Harlem. I'm Mark Santia, News 4 New York.